Rome had never feared annihilation. For centuries, the Roman Republic expanded with ruthless confidence. Its legions marched in perfect order. Its banners carried terror long before battle began. Cities fell, tribes vanished, and kings bowed before Roman power. Rome believed discipline made it invincible. Rome believed numbers guaranteed victory. Rome believed no man alive could stand against its armies. In the year 216 BC, all of that confidence led Rome into a nightmare. One single day would change warfare forever. This is the true story of how Rome sent its greatest army into battle and watched it be slaughtered. At the center of this disaster stood one man, Hannibal Barca. To Rome, he was a nightmare that refused to die. To history, he would become the most dangerous battlefield mind ever recorded. The man Rome could not destroy, Hannibal, had already humiliated Rome. He had crossed the Alps with elephants, something Rome believed impossible. He had defeated Roman armies again and again on Italian soil. Each victory shattered Roman pride and exposed weaknesses in their military system. Roman senators demanded an end to the humiliation. So Rome made a decision it believed would end the war forever. They would not send another ordinary army. They would send everything. Rome assembles its greatest force in desperation and arrogance. Rome assembled the largest army it had ever fielded. More than 80,000 soldiers were gathered. Heavy infantry packed tightly together. Elite cavalry units. Veterans hardened by years of war. 2 Roman consuls commanded the force, confident that sheer numbers would crush Hannibal once and for all. The Roman plan was brutally simple. Find Hannibal. Engage him. Overwhelm him with mass and steel. Destroy him completely. Rome believed no army could survive this storm. It never considered that the storm itself could be turned into a weapon. Hannibal chooses the field of death. Hannibal knew he could not defeat Rome by matching numbers. But he understood something far more important. Battles are not won by strength alone. They are won by positioning, timing, and control. He chose the battlefield near Cannae, a wide, flat plain bordered by the river Aufidus. Rome saw perfect terrain for its massive army. Hannibal saw a killing ground. He studied how Roman legions moved, how they advanced, how they packed themselves tightly to maintain discipline. Then he built his trap. The formation that would change war. Hannibal placed his weakest troops, Gauls and Spaniards, in the center. They stood slightly forward, forming a shallow curve. On the flanks, he positioned his strongest African infantry, disciplined, experienced, deadly. His cavalry, faster and more aggressive than Rome's, waited on the wings. This was not a defensive line. It was a weapon. Rome never recognized the danger. Dawn of the slaughter. At sunrise, the Roman army advanced. The earth shook under the weight of marching men. Tens of thousands moved as one, shields locked, swords ready. The sight alone was terrifying. Roman commanders were confident. They believed Hannibal's army would collapse under pressure. The first clash was brutal. Steel slammed into steel. Men screamed as blades tore into flesh. Blood soaked the dust almost immediately. The Roman center pushed forward aggressively. Hannibal's central troops slowly fell back. To the Romans, it looked like victory. They cheered. They pressed forward harder. They moved deeper into the trap. The trap closes. Hannibal's retreating center continued to bend inward. Not in panic. Not in disorder. By design. The Roman army surged forward, compressing itself tighter and tighter, driven by confidence and bloodlust. Then Hannibal gave the signal. The African infantry on both flanks turned inward. They struck the exposed Roman sides with brutal precision. At the same moment, Hannibal's cavalry smashed Rome's horsemen, drove them from the field, and attacked from behind. The Roman army was completely surrounded. There was no retreat. There was no escape. Panic inside the encirclement. Roman soldiers tried to turn and fight. They couldn't. The formation was too tight. There was no room to swing swords, no room to step backward, no room even to fall properly. Men were crushed between shields and bodies. Some suffocated standing upright, unable to breathe as pressure closed in from all sides. Hannibal's soldiers advanced methodically. They stabbed forward, pulled their blades free, stepped over the fallen. Again, again, again. This was no longer a battle. It was systematic execution. Hours of unimaginable slaughter. The killing lasted for hours. Roman officers were cut down first. Veterans followed. Then recruits. Then anyone still alive. Blood turned the ground into mud. Bodies piled so high soldiers climbed over them to reach new victims. Ancient historians struggled to record the scale of the destruction. More than 50,000 Roman soldiers died in a single day. Entire legions disappeared from history. Never before and never again would Rome lose so many men in one battle. The field after death. As the sun sank toward the horizon, silence spread across the field. Not because mercy had arrived, but because there was almost no one left alive. Roman banners lay trampled in blood. Broken shields littered the plain. Weapons lay untouched beside the dead who could no longer lift them. Hannibal walked among the bodies. He did not celebrate. He had just done something no man had ever done before. He had destroyed Rome's greatest army. Rome hears the news. When word reached Rome, panic followed. Families searched for sons who would never return. The streets filled with mourning. The Senate feared Hannibal would march on the city itself. Rome had lost more men in one day than in years of war. And for the first time, Rome understood a terrifying truth. Its legions were not invincible. Why Cannae changed war forever. The Battle of Cannae became the most studied battlefield maneuver in history. Military academies still analyze it. Why? Because it proved a lesson empires hate to learn. Numbers do not guarantee victory. Discipline alone cannot save an army. A superior mind can destroy superior strength. Hannibal's double encirclement became the perfect battlefield trap. Once inside, there was no escape. The man Rome could never erase. Hannibal did not destroy Rome after Cannae, but he did something worse. He broke Rome's confidence. The Republic survived. It adapted. It learned fear. Rome would eventually win the war, but it would never forget this day. The day its greatest army vanished. A warning written in blood. Empires rise believing themselves untouchable. Rome believed it, until one man proved otherwise. Hannibal Barca did not conquer Rome. He showed the world that even the strongest power could bleed. And that truth still echoes through history. If you respect real war history, not fantasy or myths like this video, if you want more dangerous, full-fight, no-mercy war stories, subscribe to Forgotten Empire, and comment below. Was this the deadliest battlefield trap ever created by man? The next forgotten war is already waiting.